Hey there, let me tell you something that separates rich, living soil from the kind that just looks healthy on the surface. It's not fertilizer, it's not compost tea, it's worms, thousands of them, quietly aerating, fertilizing, and transforming lifeless dirt into a thriving, breathing ecosystem. And here's the thing most people don't realize, there's a natural ancient trick to make worms swarm your soil in just a few days. This method isn't a gimmick, it's been used for centuries by traditional farmers who didn't have lab-made soil boosters, and it works so effectively, it can turn dead compacted ground into fertile, worm-rich earth faster than any commercial product. If you've ever dug into your garden only to find dry, hard soil and barely a worm in sight, just stay with me, because by the end of this guide, you'll know exactly how to draw worms naturally, keep them thriving, and turn your garden into a self-sustaining powerhouse of life. When you see worms, it's not just a sign of healthy soil. It is healthy soil. Earthworms create tiny tunnels that pull oxygen deep into the ground while releasing nutrient-rich castings or worm manure that boost microbial activity and feed your plants naturally. Studies have shown that worm-rich soil can hold up to 10 times more moisture than ordinary dirt and can actually double the nutrient availability for roots. The trick is understanding what attracts worms in the first place. They're drawn to two things: decomposing organic matter and moist, shaded conditions. So, to make worms swarm your soil, your goal is to create a rich buffet of decaying matter without turning it into a smelly mess. That's exactly what this ancient trick does. You know, the old farmers in East Asia and Eastern Europe had a secret. Instead of directly composting their kitchen waste, they would ferment it first using what we now call a bokashi or lactic fermentation method. But, honestly, the simplified field version doesn't need any special bucket or fancy inoculant, just natural ingredients that exist in almost every household or garden. So, here's how it works. You'll be creating a fermented organic bed that acts like a worm magnet. All you need are a base layer of carbon-rich material like straw, shredded paper, or dry leaves. Then, a nitrogen source such as kitchen scraps, fresh grass clippings, or, if you can get it, chicken manure. That works best. And finally, a microbial starter, which is kind of the secret key here. Old gardeners use things like sour milk, rice wash water, or a mix of water with molasses and a handful of good topsoil. These natural sources introduce lactic acid bacteria that kickstart the fermentation process. To prepare the mix, you just layer roughly 2 parts dry carbon material to 1 part green nitrogen waste in a shallow pit or container. Then, sprinkle your microbial starter evenly and lightly moisten the pile until it feels like a wrung-out sponge. Cover it with a breathable cloth or some straw, and let it sit for about 4 to 5 days if the weather's warm, or up to a week if it's a bit cooler. Within 3 to 5 days, worms will detect the fermented scent and begin to migrate in from surrounding areas. It's almost uncanny how fast they respond. The partially decomposed organic matter offers the perfect food source, while the lactic acids help break down harder soil particles, making it easier for worms to move and multiply. For larger garden spaces, you can repeat this process in patches every 1 meter across your beds to create what I call worm hotspots. As worms breed and spread, they'll gradually connect these hotspots underground, aerating and fertilizing the entire bed naturally. Traditional composting relies on aerobic bacteria breaking down waste into humus, but that process can take months. Fermentation, on the other hand, pre-digests organic matter in just days. When worms encounter this material, they don't need to wait. They feed immediately, multiply quickly, and continue the breakdown at lightning speed. This method also retains far more nutrients, especially nitrogen and phosphorus, since it prevents them from evaporating during the long composting process. So not only does it attract worms fast, it also delivers a concentrated nutrient pulse directly into your root zone. You'll notice within a week that your soil surface becomes looser, darker, and moist even without watering as much. That's the worm castings accumulating. Nature's own fertilizer being made right under your feet. Once you've attracted worms, your next goal is to keep them. That means maintaining their food source and microclimate. Worms don't like disturbance, direct sunlight, or dry conditions. A 2 to 3 centimeter mulch layer of shredded leaves, grass clippings, or half-composted material will keep them comfortable and working non-stop. If you garden in raised beds or containers, apply a small batch of the fermented mix once every 6 to 8 weeks. For open ground gardens, once or twice a season is enough, usually at planting and mid-season. Avoid synthetic fertilizers and chemical pesticides, as even trace amounts of salts or toxins can drive worms away. You can also add a natural supplement every month. Dilute 1 tablespoon of molasses in 2 liters of water and pour it lightly over your beds. The sugars feed the microbial population that in turn feeds the worms. It's a simple, powerful way to maintain the life chain in your soil. In 2018, a small organic farm in central Kenya tested this fermented bed method across 4 vegetable plots. The control plot had regular compost. The other 3 used the fermented technique. Within 10 days, the worm count tripled in the fermented plots, while the compost-only area showed little change. After 2 months, the soil structure was visibly different. Darker, looser, and moisture-retentive even in the dry season. Crop yield improved by nearly 40% compared to the untreated section. The results matched what older European gardeners used to say: feed the worms, and the worms will feed your plants. That's exactly the principle at work here, building fertility from the bottom up rather than dumping nutrients from the top down. Every gardener dreams of that deep, crumbly soil that smells alive and holds together like chocolate cake. But the truth is, you don't create it, you invite it. Worms are the builders, and this ancient fermentation trick is your invitation to them. So, don't waste another season fighting compacted soil or buying overpriced worm castings. You can create your own ecosystem, starting today, with nothing more than kitchen scraps, dry leaves, and a little patience. Give your soil life, and it will reward you with abundance year after year. If you found this guide valuable, subscribe to SIOL Engineer for more proven natural methods that combine traditional wisdom with modern understanding. Share this with a fellow gardener who's serious about soil health, because real change always starts underground.